Hey everybody, and welcome back to Koali Zoo. We are in the next episode. Actually, I forgot the number. I think it's 12, 11, I don't know.
11, I think.
11 it is. Okay, so 1-1. That's fine. All right, so today
Yes.
the crew is complete again. You heard already Mike is here. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
And then we have a certain Mr. Spire himself, Silverette. Or Mr. Delay, I guess.
Yo. Wait, why am I a spy?
What?
Yeah, my internet's
We
not
can
the
also
latest.
say it's Mr. Delay, I guess. You're there, Sil, right?
Oh, Mr. Delay, not Mr. Delaney. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yeah, it's really weird.
And we've got a delay designer here.
I'm not only am I
hi, what a
personally slow.
surprise.
So, are we catching up?
Probably the
with,
rattiest
so-
intro we've done since the first
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Well, at least that gave us time to look at what Sylph created last week. Because a certain
Yes.
Mike just said to us that, well, you didn't see that, right?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm subscribed to all of you, and YouTube never
You're
put it in my recommendations.
No, you should be really ashamed.
All right.
You
so
really.
I highly suggest to watch last week's episode because we basically spoke a lot about you, and
Uh-oh,
in fact, we
really?
didn't. No.
Okay, good. Well, because I know that the lady is sending me a box of death or something. because I happened to touch her building, and then Sylv decided to put a giant spire on it.
Yeah, that's how it be.
Is the spire still there, I wonder?
It is still there.
What did the people vote for, Sylv?
The reactions were honestly quite mixed, which I think is very fair. There were a lot of people also arguing that it was unnecessary, which I totally agree is a fair position to have. But
Okay, so I will
couldn't stop
delete it.
myself.
Boom!
Yes, I agree. I think that no spire. Hashtag no spire.
Hashtag no spire. Okay,
I
that's
really
the motto
like
for
the look
today's
of it, though, so
episode.
I'm gonna keep it in my episode. But we're not for my episode now.
That's
Huh.
true, but I want to say already, today something of Mike was not really secure. I'm just put that in as a disclaimer.
You did it?
I
Did you really?
might have touched something. Anyways,
How
so
dare you?
oh god, the Greta vibes are coming in. Okay, so guys, everyone is looking at the opposite side of the little pond. Do you? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
You see the
I'm totally
images?
doing that and not looking ahead. Yes, that's yeah.
Okay, so let's turn around, and there we go. There is something new.
Ooh.
I love it.
Wow.
This
It's really cool.
is, I mean, I said already what I'm going to do, but, you know, I definitely did it this time. You guys didn't see anything. I didn't send you a
Lemur
screenshot.
house.
Well, I sent you some
You-
screenshots, but, like,
Yeah.
the most...
Yeah, you didn't send us screenshots. You sent
You
us
send
little
me
teasers.
screenshots.
Yeah,
As
you. I sent you
BS
some.
is what that was.
I
No,
sent
no,
some
no. I've
small
seen the
stuff.
screenshots.
I've seen a
It's
bunch
really
of
cool.
teasers.
Yeah, but the teasers didn't tell shit.
Okay.
They were
Is there
basically-
another chat that you guys are in that I'm not in?
It's the don't move anything chat. It's how it's called.
But that mic should be in there.
Well,
I will continue to move things.
so basically, we are standing in front of a new building, and now, yeah, I think you guys always wanted to know what is this inspired of, and you know, whatever. I got a bunch of stuff that I had as inspiration this time, and I must just quickly see. So I cannot really pronounce that correctly, but this building is heavily based on the Medan Raya Mosque in Indonesia.
Oh.
And I changed a lot of the layout. I changed a lot of the designs to fit it in Koali Zoo. I kind of tried to take some of the colors we have also in the entrance building here and try to bring them in here as well. And yeah, just worked with the design given because I found it an interesting idea to have like an old mosque as well in here. So that could have been refurbished to something else, which in fact we're going to look at today. But let me just go a little bit more down so you can see there is a little bit of a water element
God, your
here.
path
Love it.
work, you must have gone nuts.
So one thing I might even leave out. So first of all, I should have said that you guys are potentially seeing a little screen of the time lapse because usually you know that I do time lapses, but this time I just had too much footage. It's not gonna work. So also it was totally random. Like I jumped from one area to the other, and it took me 4 hours before I really started building the first wall. Reason for that
There's
is
so much here.
you see that this is quite a lot lower down in comparison to the rest of this area.
I love that.
Which is for a good
Yeah, it's
reason,
super
because
cool.
I didn't want this building to peek out by any means. I wanted it to be hidden as much as possible so that it doesn't steal anything from the, kind of intro here we have from the park. So when you come from
Really
from
like
the
that.
entrance, it shouldn't, take take all the views and stuff. It should be very much hidden so you can discover it rather than just have it in your face, The zoo
In
should,
your face!
Yeah, exactly. So that it should really greet you by accident, so to say. And this is why I put that down. But yeah, as you guys know, the path system in Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, Planet Games, or whatever, is maybe not the best friend.
It's fine, right?
It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. I've a certain
There'll be a
gift in my
cheat for
mind.
it eventually.
Yeah, it's called Murder Me. All right, so this is what we have here, and there's also something to the left we're going to look at later. I'm just going to give you a little peek of that. But,
Oh, I love those decorations underneath the windows. It's such a subtle touch. But it's really
You're
cool.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a little peek, but we all have the file, so we can just
Don't
move
just
on.
don't.
Yeah,
Rule
I've
number
totally.
one.
Yep.
All right.
Me too.
So how about just
I haven't
moving
seen
in
anything
then?
yet.
So let's move in. Okay, so here we are indoors now
Ooh.
of the
Are
building.
we yet?
And
Wow.
oh my lord, I cannot tell you how much
Holy
pain that
crap.
was. So
Oh
we
my
are
God, that
getting
is so
in, and on the right hand
cool.
side we have a little guy greeting you as an information kiosk where you get the tour, so to say. And on the left hand side you have the indoor part of this building, where all the no one is in there. I guess it's good weather. Oh, there is one guy. There's one guy down there.
Okay.
So this is kind of the indoor area where the animals can be once the weather is not that nice and raining, whatever, and people can still get a view. We have a certain area up here, but we get there later because it's actually meant to be a tour. You take the
is
right hand
so
side and
good.
then you go into basically a little tour style. You can also see on the left hand side. I just want to introduce you these baskets. Unfortunately, they are not usable by the lemurs.
Yep.
But I love them. It's so cool.
But I
cool.
struggled a
That's
lot with
cool.
myself if I want to put them in or not. But I found these things. I was researching a lot of zoos, and let me see if the file is named. Yeah, it's from Drew Ackberg, Snowden Architects it's called, or whatever. I think it is in Calgary Zoo. That's the zoo where it is in. And in Calgary Zoo, there is a lemur petting garden, if you will. And they have these kind of baskets as sleeping places for the animals outside, so they can hide from the guests. So it's quite a busy place, but the animals need some privacy. And that's how I imagined you could do it,
Yeah.
I
I
love
really
it.
like that.
So this is all what we have in, and then to the right hand side we have some education boards. They are all lit also at night. I also did the lighting, which was another pain. We can have a look later to the lighting. But yeah, Softcom flyers down here to grab some if you want to. Have
Oh
some
my
more
god,
info.
the detail.
Oh,
And
wow.
well, if you go out, we have a little shut up sign over here to make sure that
Shut up, sign.
it's the Zamur
Oh my
Pafu.
God.
And
Holy crap.
on the right hand side, you also have this little light
Wow.
switch if you want to turn out these things, because on daylight you don't want to spend too much energy on that, right? So we've got the little switch here.
I love the sense of space inside the building. It feels very spacious, but at the same time you can tell that it's not that large of a building. It just has a really cool
Yeah.
sense of space.
Yeah,
Really
was
energetic in here.
Yeah.
So, and now, okay, before we go in
Awesome.
back, we just go to the outside, and there you can see already what I touched from Mr. Mike.
What?
You are, you are greeted
It's so
by
cool.
a little monorail implementation, I should call it.
I love this.
And this is, oh my god. I didn't know how much pain it is to work with the monorail. I guess you, Mike, knew it because I needed to touch this thing. And I also must say there might be something broken, but I don't, oh god. I needed to redo some of the entrances because for whatever reason, I just changed something and I noticed like 2 hours
Oh,
later
no.
that all the platforms were gone. Like every
Oh, no.
platform was gone. I was like,
Hold
And
on.
so-
It'll float out for a second. here.
Oh.
I managed to redo them all, but in one station I couldn't redo the pathing. For whatever reason, it didn't let me do it.
Okay, that's fine. We'll make it work.
But the rest of it is just it works again. So yeah, let's
Gonna be
just
a
step out.
pain.
I took the same workshop item here with the water bottles. I loved it so much that I
Super
wanted
cool.
to keep it. And in this area, if you spend some time out here, I just kept it in. So if we move out, we see the next biggest thing I worked on, and this is this little hanging bed thing, which is
I
here.
love it.
Oh,
This
that's
is so
awesome.
cool.
This is something that the animals can use. So I managed to do it in a size that the animals can be in there, and they actually use it. So
That's
when they
super
feel too much
cool.
stress, they just climb up and they're in here because people cannot
That's
see
cool.
them. And so that's where they
How many
kind of spend
how many
all the-
ropes are in there? That's
Too many.
looks like quite a few.
Crazy.
Too many, I
Many.
guess. I don't know how many these are, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I just worked also a long time. I also
Oh my god, that's water underneath that pillar? Like underneath the...
okay,
people
this is
mover thing?
exactly. This is a little pond here. Let's move a
Holy
little bit further
cow.
to the
Word.
outside so we can see that. So this is a pond in the middle here, where this big support thing is. Now, the reason for that is not only because it looks nice, but also there were a lot of things that I needed to make sure. So realistically, in this game, the animals don't do it, but realistically, these freaking lemurs could climb anything, you know, and you don't want them to climb onto a freaking monorail track. So
Oh,
that
that's
is-
genius! As soon as I saw the monorail, I was thinking, but what about safety?
And
You
so
thought of
I
everything.
experimented a little bit with netting, but that looked so ugly because it was so like I wanted to have it really close to this area so that the people from the monorail can still see the animals. But the netting totally destroyed that, and so I was trying to come up with something that would work as well because I just did a research, and lemurs really they don't like water. They eventually go in if they need to, but they would never swim there to climb or whatever. They would be like, it's fine, let's go out
But
again.
would they be able to jump?
In the middle to that thing?
I'm pretty sure that like there's one African branch sticking out, and if they would like realistically, if they would climb to that top, I'm pretty sure they would be able to jump
they could certainly
on
climb this
the
camera in here.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
might move that a little bit. I slammed some of the trees in later, so maybe didn't watch
Yeah,
that,
and from the
but
trees too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I really like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
they're
it's just
but it's okay.
completely
Thank you.
overgrown, and it's like not
It's
really
lovely.
tended. It's just like they had to have a pool here, and they're not really putting chlorine in or anything like
Exactly,
that. So all
exactly.
that vegetation is just grown in. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to make it
I
like
love
a
it.
clean pool or whatever. So as you said, exactly that's the thought process that went behind. Also, a little thing, I took your wall, Sylph, that you had from the entrance, and I let it go all the way over here. So it kind
Nice.
of is another outer border of our zoo. And yeah, if we go further to the back, we have some drink spots in here for them, and some places to hide basically for the animals. And I also copied these privacy little baskets into that area too. At the moment, we have about
cute.
20 animals in here. Maybe I thought, okay, we could even go higher because it's quite a large area for them. But yeah, if we move further, we have a lot of more stuff to discover. So yeah, we have some more of these beddings all the place. Then I made this little area over here where you can sit down, have a bit of a fencing so that there is a bit more of a hidden away area for the animals in the back. Which is also not even hidden by the views too much, but also by how the sun works, because I put this one so that exactly the benches and stuff are in sunlight, in direct sunlight, and it is kind of welcoming. People want to sit down, but you
Nice.
naturally don't look at the background
Wow.
here, That's also why I
Oh
put
my
so
goodness.
much greenish stuff behind. So it almost kind of
That's so cool.
transitions into this area. So it kind of looks like as if...
long did it take to just figure
Amazing.
out how the people would work their way through this exhibit?
Oh man,
'Cause
yeah.
they seem to be doing it. They seem to be going one direction, which is really amazing.
Yeah, it kind of works the way with the viewpoint. Some come back the wrong way, but this is, I think, how they see the first animals. But naturally, I made it so that the first viewpoint is definitely the right-hand side. It sometimes gets a little bit distracting if all the animals are outside. Then the first viewport is outside, and so the people just go straight through the building. But as soon as you have one or two animals in the middle, it's not a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we go further, you can see also here's one basket falling down, just lying around. Someone forgot to put it away. So yeah, one of the lemurs not taking favor of that. It's gonna for a drink, I guess. Yeah, and then we before we go up, let me just go back in here. So there's a bit of a climbing area where we have like a little hammock in the middle. They can also climb up here into this higher level baskets and stuff. And now we have this glass entrance in the middle, and just wanted to talk about that real quick as well, if I make my way through here. There we go. So here we go and have this entrance. Now we have one problem I figured out later, and this is this inner area is lower down. So as soon as there would be heavy rain falling down, we definitely would have an issue here. And so I redid all the pathing and raised it, because I found, okay, it might make sense to have it raised, because then the flooding would not go in at all of the openings. However, this one opening we have over here has a very heavy door, which can slide up. It's basically kind of a water retaining system that can slide out and in and out.
Amazing.
So that it does not get, soaked in the middle here. Oh, there's a dude also sleeping on the... They're so small. When I was building, I was like, oh, yeah, it's a kind of a decent size for them, I guess, but it's just so small. Okay.
I just watched a lemur jump from one platform to the other platform to the other platform. That's amazing. It's hard for me to get it set up just in such a way that they'll actually use it, because it's hard to tell what they're actually going to jump. It's just really exciting to be in here and watch all the animals.
I also left the game running for about an hour before I sent this to you, because I figured it takes a while until the animals really find their areas to be in, and they seem to learn also where to go and where to have some spots and stuff. So it's really good to let it just run a little bit, I guess.
Good one. Good point.
So yeah, actually also another thing that I found quite interesting is that they seem to have changed something. So Frontier must have implemented something else, because I remember in the past that there is a certain limit to the climbing. And I was really bummed by it, because at one point I made like a huge climbing frame, and then I made like a wooden backside of the building, and it totally didn't work out because the climbing need was fulfilled. But it seems there is no such thing anymore, because as you can imagine in this exhibit, it's not only the pieces, they can basically climb everything. So except the
monorail, of course.
Except the monorail, right? Because actually, if they would be able to climb on that, they would be able to escape. Because honestly, I tried this and I sticked a lock in here, and they kind of see the track as something they can move on. So as soon as they would be able to touch the track, they would be able to run off.
Amazing.
Oh God.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So, but what you said, like, there is no lemur inside right now.
Yeah, it's good weather. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay.
Let's just
okay.
activate rain.
That makes
Everyone
sense.
is
Yeah, that's
Activate the
true.
rain.
So, we keep it sunny for now.
Camel, before you continue, I really love what you did so far. It is so awesome.
It's really awesome.
It's really awesome. I feel the pressure again. Thank you.
This is the thing that I feel like is lacking. This is the ingenuity, the fun of having a zoo. And when we saw that recent Twitter post of what they had planned for the concept art, this is what I would imagine it would look like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it feels like I'm stepping into
so
the zoo of the
good.
future here.
Yeah.
It's like everything is so interesting and new and shiny.
I just love the way that you've people movered this, and it has its own. We should definitely do this in different parts of the zoo.
Yeah,
I
was also thinking.
Diverts.
Yeah, that's
like
really
that.
cool.
Yeah, I'm just so happy you said that, because I thought so too. When I was finished at least with this part, I thought, hey, that's actually a cool idea to have it dip in from the outside, always to just get people into the areas, but not for too long and not too distracting, And yeah, so it's actually we just caught someone just moving by and actually pointed onto the animals, because at a certain point, I just took a ride on this thing to see what they can actually spot from the ride, and honestly, there was not too much, and so I decided to put a feeding platform in here, as you can see. so that the animals do sit here eventually, because that's one of the spots you can really see nicely from over here. And so the animals have a greater need to go over these platforms over here quite often. And so I made sure that every now and then the people see them. As you can see, the next one is just coming around, and the lemurs are just about here. So yeah. But there's no one in, so not so bad.
Yeah.
For you, I guess. And yeah, I needed to put down this do not feed signs. Even though I thought it would be a nice petting idea, Planet Zoo doesn't really like that, and they all throw their litter in here, so nope.
Yeah.
So I needed to put that down. Okay.
You can also just lower them in the ground, right? They're so ugly. They're super hideous.
Yeah, I managed to hide them away at most places, but oh well. Here not. No, that's...
It's like, oh yeah, we need to have an extra management function. Oh, we need a sign. Let's make a huge sign.
Why can I just
like,
not...
just give me a small
can you
little
just put it
sign.
Underground? Does it still work?
You can. You can.
Yeah,
You can
okay,
just
I
lower
could
it
have
into the
done this.
ground.
Yeah, well, anyways. If we move in, you can see the theme changed a little bit, because I have an upper area in here, which is meant to be also a bit more quiet, and then you have this little seating area in here. It's almost like a little
Oh, there's a
recreation.
lemur walking here.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, there's a bunch of lemurs in here. Holy crap.
Okay, so for me, there's no one in. Well, is there anyone down here? Oh yeah, there's someone running down here. But yeah, as you can see, this is the this is actually a little recreation area for the people inside of that house. So yeah, you can sit down, have a little drink or whatever, and then
imagine sitting just there, and then you see the lemurs just walking around you. That's so funny. That would be such a cool experience.
There needs to be like permanent shit
Stealing your
marks on the ground.
food.
Yeah, but there's already someone.
So
they are
beautiful.
proving the hell out of here. They are like doing a good job. But yeah, so this is a little area to sit down, and if we move a little bit further in here, you can see I had a huge struggle of what to do with these headlights, or with kind of the open areas in the dome. So I ended up putting a lot of foliage in here to make it a bit more overgrown, and just have some planters in here and there, and yeah, managed to kind of hide the ugliness of pieces sticking in and out. And yeah, so that's what I did about this.
Amazing.
Oh my lord, now I am on the roof. Great one game. Just move in again.
If I were to say anything, it just needs an airlock. That's the only thing that it needs is an airlock, because there's so many animals and there's so many ways for them to get out and to move around.
Well, actually, there is. However, for whatever reason, I can show you if we go in a little bit. Well, this is actually the area where, but you can see already what is happening. I needed to put a certain gate in, as you can see here, and I needed to somehow hide this gate. The problem is, it still is not able to be moved freely. You still are tucked to the angle snap, and I built everything up front. And so that completely destroyed my idea, because it is kind of tilted in here. And so I couldn't do the airlock, because this whole building does not work when I don't have this guest gate.
It doesn't? Yeah. It doesn't work at all?
No, because if you have these things in here, the people go in, but then your staff members are confused, because they basically have an open area there to escape, and I don't know what exactly it is, but it just didn't work with the staff members. They were constantly complaining about stuff. So yeah, I would have loved to have the airlock in here, and also like a glass door. But like
but we don't have that issue with the tortoise, right?
Right. The tortoises can come, or the people can come right in, and the tortoises are just fine. That's what I thought. If you just placed a barrier, the people could walk in, and you still have a null barrier, but.
Yeah, I might want to change that again and try how it works, because I had, like, it just didn't work. They couldn't reach any of those enrichment items, and as soon as I changed that, it did work.
That's so bizarre. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I had a version of the entrance which was more modern, which was kind of referring to this other one here. And yeah, I would have loved to have it in, but maybe we change that for next episode if we get it to work. So I'm really not sticking to that door. It was just a late move to make it somewhat nice looking, because as you can see, the width of it and the depth of it was already meant to be an airlock. So I changed it already. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you would almost need like a holding or a waiting area off the side, because there'd be so many people wanting to get in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a challenge for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I have this version. I might be able to put in. Maybe I even do that later, and then we have it for next time. Because it's not
just
that
leave it
huge.
to Mike. He has
like it.
time.
I don't have time.
Oh god. This is always the same assumption. As soon as people do something really tediously and really like in detail, it's like they have too much time. Well, as promised, by the way, we have something more to discover, which is to the right-hand side over here.
Okay.
And that is a little backstage area. Now,
Ooh.
usually I don't want to stress this too much, but
That's so cute.
I kind of set sails for something in the future, which you guys have to work on with.
Sales.
Yeah. Because,
Oh, I see employees coming by bike. That's very
yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
Oh,
They
a
come by
path,
bike.
a staff path.
Yeah, one was not able to put it in the right spot, so it has fallen over. And
Ah,
just
that's
kind
awesome.
of linked into the other one. We have like a little ladder that goes up here, and so you can move to the roof if there's anything to be done. You've got all the stuff you need here, a separate entrance, and we have one
my
of these
goodness.
beds over here fallen down because it's broken. The rope fell
I
out.
love
Wow.
how janky this this like catwalk is to access this old building. That's
Amazing.
really cool.
And it was like, yeah, just put it like no one can see that either way, so I just put it in that way. Yeah, and then we have a road that goes to all this area over here, and then yeah, we have a generator over here with some like I don't know, might be we can move them whatever, but I just have them in to justify this little thing here. Because actually there was a little terrain error, as always, these weird terrain things that stick out, which was totally destroying everything, and I was like, you know what, I want to have this kind of cable cover thing in here anyway, so let's do it.
I love this broken basket in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, it's so cool.
So, well, exactly. That's it. So we have this backstage area, which I thought could then be, well, it's not done yet, but let's just move on. So you can see it's all
Oh,
hidden
it
away
connects
here.
to the other backstage area.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So this is where
Ah.
a tunnel would go and then connect to your
So
actual one.
smart.
That's
And
brilliant.
then, all the foliage and stuff
so
can hide that
cool.
away. I think we need to make like a bridge that doesn't really look like a bridge, and I wanted to do that, but at some point I just ended. Because the
Yeah, no, you didn't work hard
Yeah,
enough.
you've done more than enough.
Oh my
And
No,
you'd
goodness.
be
that's
proud of
really
me.
cool.
It's the second smallest area of the whole zoo. Only the entrance was smaller.
That's seriously crazy.
So yeah, there's the last little bit. It's not much, but if we go
Wow.
in here, so that's basically where the employees can get in, the bananas. And on the left-hand side, we have some more privacy area for the lemurs where they can sleep. So like little platforms.
I
and
love
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
I
really
really,
well done.
wish
And-
we would have these kind of things that they will be used, because there are so many, like, also a lot of animals that hide away in like rock elements where you have like a very small hole and those kind of things. I'm really missing that. I really would love to see something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
This is such
It's
a
so-
cool and
so
dynamic
cute.
space, and you've got it worked out so that staff can get all throughout here. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I need to build
Yeah.
a bridge though. This stair down here though, but yeah. It all works. Yeah, it was quite a challenge to get it to work later on, because the one thing I have to admit I completely forgot in the process of doing it is kind of the staff interaction. And here's one thing I really want to stress again for Frontier, if they're listening. The one thing I really want to have, like, I think it's more than anything else about the habitats, is a second door, a second entrance. Because honestly,
Yeah.
this weird thing always keeping in mind that there's only one area where they can get in is like so freaking annoying at some points, because they always have to get all the way in here, go out of here and do their job. Instead of just having people that would be, kind of tucked by a work roster to this area and just constantly move around and care for the guests, So as this
Yeah.
dude is doing over here. So he's just, proving its way. But instead of just going around and going outside this area to a nearby staff room, they always need to go all the way down here. And yeah, so that's what I didn't actually think about, because I was like, there's like a whole pathway going through the entire habitat. So there should be no issue at all. To get to the places, and I was like, oh, they cannot reach anything. Oh yeah, well, that's because of that one. And I changed the whole interior here to make sure that it works.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That must have been super frustrating.
Yeah, but it worked out a little bit better than expected, so it was a bit quicker. But yeah, I love
okay.
also how the animals use this area down here. It works pretty well. They use all these different things. I did experiment a little bit with like rotated trees. You can see a lot of these logs have different textures than what
you
you're
use
used
a lot
to.
of variation
So,
in there.
yeah, I
That's
just,
so cool.
Try to, like, I was looking up some images of indoor habitats of lemurs all over the globe from different zoos, and one thing that really stood out is that they're always super crowded with foliage, logs and stuff. They're really busy places. They are not clean. They're like really jungle-ish and like really, really tight together. So I wanted to make this area really resemble that. To a certain degree, you need to stop somewhere because otherwise the animals don't have anything to walk. Like the traversable area then tends to zero basically, and so obviously I needed to keep some open spaces. But yeah, so that is
I love it.
the entire area I worked on.
Yeah, I think you hit the balance quite well on that. I also love how the interior decoration is full of logs and foliage and things like this, but then the actual architecture of the space is very modern, very minimalist. So I think that works well together as well.
Yeah,
really
I'm really
beautiful.
happy that you guys like it because I spent a whole lot of time thinking about it. And let me show it to you from above. So this is how the area looks like from the aerial view. Yeah.
It's indeed very small compared to your other stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, to be fair, not that hard, but
It's so
It's really cool.
multi-layered, and yeah, I can tell. I know how hard it is to get these things to work like this.
Really incredible.
It's really cool.
and yeah, I need to again point out one teaser I sent you guys was this one, basically over here. From this view, which I cannot tell you how often I move to exactly this position. Because the one...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wanted to, really badly. I wanted to maintain this view. The focus of this view is that door, like this tower over here, this gate, okay? That's it. You might want to attend to this spire over here as well, okay? But that's about it, you know? You want to go into the zoo. You don't want to be distracted from anything else. You want to have this wonderful view with the main building in the back.
It's too beautiful to ruin it.
Exactly.
I
And
feel
you
you.
don't want to be distracted from any other angle. And that's why I needed to, like, you know, put that down like 5 meters actually. This whole area is lowered down 5 meters. And then again, I didn't want to make it too crazy. I didn't want it to be sitting in a hole, you know? So I wanted to keep it natural of some sort. And so that was the first thing I was working on quite a lot. And then another problem kicked in. The monorail is quite high. So you need to go down quite a bit with the monorail in order to make that work. And then, yeah, I needed to rework this entire section of the monorail until I hit a point where, again, this area does not steal the show from the building. So another quite challenging thing to do because you don't want to, like, it's almost level peaking with the building here, so that's how you can see it. And well, yeah, since the track is lower, it all appears to be lower than this area.
Yeah, I think I'll have to ease the angles in and out a little bit, but I do like that idea of just having
angle, which is not good.
having it come in, and if the monorail or the SkyTrack does something like this every time it goes into a habitat, so it kind of gives it a little bit of rhythm. Like, oh, now we're in this area. We need to pay attention because it's, you know, it's a little bit tighter.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah,
also
definitely.
because it really makes it a zoo attraction, not just something to get around the park to go somewhere else, but really, you know, a way to look at the animals. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
funny
I
thing
really
is,
love
nobody
it.
uses it anymore.
Yeah, but that's probably because you can also see it walking. So if you would have like a habitat that the people could only see that animal from the ride, then the people would go on the rides. But that is indeed just a Planet Zoo thing and not really a realistic thing because
Yeah, we'll have to
people
massage
would go in a ride too eventually.
Yeah, that's true. But I think I'm still quite fine with it. Okay, so let's go to night view then.
night view.
Oops, I get
To
dark.
turn off the rain. It's been raining for a while.
I'm just not. Oh, I always forget. This is also a cool thing. I wanted to quickly give a shout out to Frontier because the light level is different also in terms of times depending on the biome, which I found really cool. And I always put it to like an 8-ish, 9-ish, and it was still not fully dark. So I found this a cool little bit. Okay,
I love the way the main plaza looks. I didn't see it at night either. All the lights are on. That's really freaking cool.
That's super cool. It is.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
really awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. I just, again, I didn't want to take anything away from that area, so this is why I tried to make it really subtle in here. I put some of the light bulbs, the Christmas light bulbs in this area to really subtly light some of the foliage in the back. But then I went in and made the building the star of the show. Everything else is just kind of little lit only.
Really good lighting.
Yeah, and if we could just go in, it's also very subtle. Like it's not crazy. You have some light sources. You have some lights down here in the habitat that's going to create some indirect lighting in the habitat. And then we also have these monitors that shine. And we've got one street lantern in here that is creating a bit of more light. And we have these lamps up here, and we have this green one creating a bit of a more like I thought I was lacking a little bit of the greenery element in here, and so I made some green light working in this area, which makes it feel a little bit more jungle-ish, if you will. So I created that green little light here because unfortunately, I mean, okay, that would be a bit too much, but the light in Planet Zoo is already amazing, but it doesn't cast the colors of the elements that it's lighting. So if you have a green back wall, it would not take the green element of the light and throw it back onto stuff. So that's why you don't really have that. So this is why I created a little bit of a green lighting, which you would actually have in this area because of all the plants and stuff.
Yeah.
And on the other side,
really
you can
like
see,
that.
I just did it a little bit more subtle. I didn't want this area to be completely illuminated because at nighttime the animals don't want to be distracted too much, and so I decided to only have this middle support thing nicely lit, so that it kind of gets the structure
Really subtle.
illuminated. And then everything else is just about some light sources here and there, something in the gardening and in the flower beds, and then that's about it.
Yeah, and what we found
Very
talking to
nice.
people who work at zoos and who have worked at zoos for a long time is that night is not usually a thing at zoos. It's more for the people than it is for the animals. And most of these exhibits would be closed by about sundown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And
Which is
even then,
also-
I think it makes
But
sense to have
in,
these lights just to, light the way for people, light the footpath so that they don't trip. But that aside, just keep it dark.
Oh, absolutely,
Exactly.
yeah.
I wonder because we have like summer nights in some Dutch zoos, and I wonder how much is open. I've been there once, but it was pouring rain, so I went away before it went dark. So I have no idea how they took that approach with the lighting at nighttime and with animals being inside or anything. So I have no idea.
Damn, this is starting to
Really
look like
beautiful.
a zoo now.
Yeah.
So it's starting to look like
It's
a quality
really cool.
project, I should say.
Oh, yeah. It definitely does. Yeah, I'm just looking the first time ever in rain. I didn't do that while I was building. Yeah, it looks okay in rain too. I'm
It
happy.
does, yeah.
Oh god, I just love it. I also
That looks stunning.
love how the interior works with rain. This
Yeah,
is something
it's so
that
good.
they nailed. You still have a
Yeah.
little bit of the mist going on, but that's about it.
Yeah,
So good.
it's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh
Beautiful, Camel.
yeah. I like it.
Beautiful.
Alrighty.
You can be
Alright.
really proud of what you did.
Yeah.
Like really.
Yeah.
It's really
well,
good.
Again, I think as you know from my other implementations of the zoo, this was quite different now, and yeah, but it was super fun to build. It was really a challenge, but it was super fun to go into that kind of detail. Also, I stole a lot of your approaches, Mike, in doing the nature and stuff. So I was brave enough to put some more plants down than usually. So
This front garden especially is really well done. Beautiful
Yeah,
layering.
I love
and
it.
you can see through it, but you can't see all the way to like the road. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that waterfall section in the entrance. It's really good. Really
yeah, I wanted to
cute.
have something that is floating down and guiding you the way, almost like you're basically following the water stream down that is leading you towards the door.
Yeah.
And I have even, let me just show you. I found this quite a challenging thing, but then I came up with the fact that I was reversing basically the flow of the water which is because the water would go down to this right-hand side of this little pond thing here, and then it is kind of kicked back, and then there is this little drainage thing down here, which takes the water back. And honestly, because the effect is so long that I couldn't use it for this lower part into the other direction, so I found it
some smaller parts would be so useful.
Yeah, exactly.
Like more square-ish parts, or maybe even, so you can really do some really funny, creative things with it.
Yeah, that's it. I guess there's not much more to talk about. It's almost
it's awesome,
a
Camel.
small area, I would say.
It's
I love
also,
it.
even if it's very different from everything that you've done so far, it feels very, very Rudy. Like through and through Rudy style. Very like out of the box creative ideas all over the place. Be it the raising door for the rain, the way the different levels in the building interact with each other. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Just
totally
the path
agree with that.
wrangling in here is pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm so proud, especially that you say that, Mike, because I know that you spend hours as well doing pathing. So
I love the path tool. Don't shut up.
I mean, if
not
you don't love
fooling
it, why would
me.
you spend that many hours working on
exactly.
it?
Right?
You could also just go for the safe way. Just a flat terrain, a flat path.
Boo,
Don't
no
make
flat
it too
terrain.
hard.
You're talking to Dutch people here. Watch out.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true. Oh, one last thing, by the way, I just meant I exchanged all the signs and put another one in and just rotated this to the right direction. And the other one, which is all the way back there, is also now completely correct
Oh,
again.
good one to edit it right away.
Yeah,
Smart.
I love the fact that we've got waypoints in this zoo that you can
Yeah.
actually find your way around, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, which
Very
is,
helpful.
If we zoom out, I think it is very important to say that we need that, like totally, because
Especially because it's not everything built by yourself, so you really are like, oh, where was that? Where is that? But if you build the zoo all by yourself, you know exactly where to go to. But in this zoo, everyone's like, oh, where am I? Where am I? I'm lost.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, signs are very useful.
Yeah, I love it. So, I think it's the first time I'm looking at it now in this version, because I did some work yesterday late night. So what I'm just thinking is, actually this area is nicely filled now. So I set myself this area to be, and to be fair, this is only foliage, I didn't, this is what I did. This is only just a little bit of foliage to fill it in. We have another backstage possibility here, a little opportunity to go for, because that's where the building is. Yeah, but I think now it's really getting closer to each other, and I love, basically, I think we talked too less about the monorail in your episode, Mike, because what I loved about this especially is it's giving us a little bit of a guidance of where the zoo is going. And in fact, I like that we have some examples now how it can work over here and over here. So I just love the interaction. I cannot wait to see what you guys are also doing with it in the future. No.
I think I'm gonna use it too.
Cool.
So it's you again, right, lady? Next time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's my turn.
I totally forgot I'm totally not aware of any schedule anymore. All this
It's okay. We're starting all over again, so it's gonna be Mike after me, and then Sylv, and then
okay.
me
So
again.
we are back in the old schedule. That's good.
Gonna get to
Makes
touch
sense.
things again.
Oh.
Gonna be exciting.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just seeing there's a hidden Mickey now in here. So it is now a fully approved park. Good.
I'm not gonna say what I see.
That is a very... Oh, Dad, don't say that.
Lady, huh?
No.
It's not as juicy as yours, though, lady.
No.
Do we have some disco chat we can put in as a screenshot now?
Let's end the
yes,
video.
add it.
Let's end the video.
All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think that we
Yeah, I
Yeah,
loved
I
it.
did.
I really love it.
It's an awesome addition.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. Really well done, Camel.
That's a big relief.
Proud
now.
of you.
Because the thing, if you don't send a screenshot and you just keep it to that one moment, if your reaction would be like, oh, meh, you try to overact it, that would be weird. So
No, it's really good. Really good.
okay, I am happy. I hope you
I
guys
love it.
out
It's
there
a-
are
it's a-
also happy. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it's a building in yet another different style, but it's all coming together.
Actually,
Yeah,
I love it.
definitely.
Looking at
I
it
do.
from
I
above
really
right
do.
now, yeah, it just fits together.
It totally looks
Definitely.
like a complex of like a royal garden or something like that.
Yeah, I basically was following that idea. So I was like, the only thing I have to say that is I was struggling a little bit with the religious background of it. Now, the thing is, I think it works for the most part, but this mosque is really, if you look at that, it has a certain religious background, obviously, as some of the other parts of Indonesia have as well. And we have them crammed together in a very, very, very close environment. But I think you could argue over time it might have changed, and hopefully they get easier along. And I didn't want to stress any religious conflict at all on YouTube, so that's why I was like, let's keep it a game and go
Good
for the
point.
architecture.
Could have been a conservatory before that too.
Yeah. Are we gonna open Pandora's box again? Yeah, this feels
No,
very
no,
reminiscent
that's
of
your-
the
no.
colonialism episode.
That's
Nope.
your job, Sylph. That's your job.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna make another clip of that. That was too much work.
It's just the architecture. We're
Exactly.
gonna distance ourselves from any cultural meaning it might have.
That's right.
All right, so let's end it there. All right, it was a pleasure to have you in again, guys. I hope you enjoyed. So
Yeah,
I
no
did.
problem.
Still
Definitely.
did. Yep. Still enjoying.
Good. Good. Now let's end it before you change mind. All right, guys. What amazing. See you next time on Ladies Channel. Have a good time and bye.
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 Bye.